Right, this is straight off the cuff. Zero carb versus Lyme disease. I've been doing it since March the 3rd this year. This is now November the 23rd, I think, or 22nd or 23rd. Not 100% au fait on the date. Um, doesn't really matter. Uh, just basically, this is for all you people who, people who have got Lyme disease and you are considering sort of like doing a zero carb diet, which actually works brilliant for the Lyme disease. To be quite honest, as long as you think there's a few things to be said about the zero carb diet. Uh, Meat's good. You can, you got pork, you got lamb, you got chicken, you got beef, but beef actually seems to blow everything out the water. I don't know if it's a personal thing or anything like that, but I find that beef, I feel better as long I'm all right, but if I eat beef, I actually feel better. So steak, lots of steak, and if anybody's worrying about the bowel movements and everything, on that score, bowel movements with this zero carb diet is absolutely fine. In fact, my bowels have been healthier on the zero carb diet. The only thing I'm going to say, it's not the only thing, it's a bloody huge thing. Lyme disease doesn't come on its own. And whilst I've been through sort of like years ago, sort of over about 4 or 5 years ago, going through heavy antibiotics and treating sort of like the co-infections, Riomet and taking things like that to beat Babesia. I haven't tested positive for Babesia Bartonella. My Bartonella came back, my Babesia came back, and there's a third one. It begins with E, Eclasia. I can't pronounce it, but that all came back with a vengeance. The Lyme disease seems to be in sort of like it's not happening. It's sort of like, what do you call it? God, remission. The Lyme disease seems to be in remission on this zero carb diet, but the Babesia came back with a vengeance, and the hot sweats, the sort of cold thing, the thing. And one of the things about Babesia is the Herxheimer from Babesia is bloody awful as well, absolutely appalling. And so during the past month or so, or month and a half, 2 months, I was getting ill again. I've been well, because when you first go on the zero carb diet, you feel well and you feel great, and but slowly I started getting ill, and I thought, oh God, the Lyme's coming back, but it turned out not to be the Lyme. It turned out to be the co-infections. So although you've treated the co-infections, and you've put them into remission as well prior to going on to the zero carb. One of the things is like the reason why zero carb works with Lyme is because of the Lyme disease seems to be run by the sugar. They run off glucose in your the sugar feeds the Lyme disease. So if you cut all sugar from your diet and you just go on straight onto fats and things, and so ketones or ketones, what are they called? Ketones, cops. When you got the ketones, that sort of like pushes the Lyme disease back because they haven't got the fuel to breed and to live and everything. So you have to go through a horrible herxy period with the Lyme. But once you come out the other side, you feel really, really good. But then it turns out that Babesia run off of fats. They love it. And so basically all the time I've been doing that, I've been feeding up the Babesia. And they're bloodborne and quite nasty. So I've gone back onto Burner. I went to Burner Herbal Protocol for Babesia, and I've had to come off because the herxing was bloody awful. So I've come off for a couple of days, and I'm feeling really good now. Actually, to be quite honest, I'm feeling really brighter, a lot brighter. So I'm going back on it, and I'm going to treat that. So zero carb is great. Yeah, it is a thing. I was really quite bad, and I had to have people come and look after me, and trying to explain to people that you only eat meat when and no, you've got to have your vegetables and all this lot, like, you know, the old school people. I did have a couple of meals where there were vegetables, and you know, to sort of like shut people up, I ate a few vegetables. But this is not a religion. Zero carb is not a religion, so you know, I'm not going to stress about eating a few vegetables. Don't have to make me fart. God, did I fart? I'd forgotten about farting. Anyway, but now I'm back sort of eating the steaks and things like that, loving it. Yes, so you've got to be careful for the co-infections. So there is no panacea. There is no panacea. Hopefully these co-infections are getting under control again by treating with herbal. I'm doing the Burner herbal protocol, which is complicated, and it takes it out. I'm very lucky that my wife, although she's sort of like working away most of the time, she's studying herbalism and sort of like Chinese medicine and all things like that. And basically, she thinks Burner is a genius. Apparently, when it comes to medical herbalism, she thinks he's a bit of a genius, which is a good thing, because she sort of like said, I will do whatever he advocates, and she's tweaking it and working it. But it does one thing about Burner. If you follow him, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It does work. So there you go, an update. Zero carb versus Lyme, another update. Life after Lyme. Yeah, it's just Babesia actually, when it gets hold of you, is really, really quite unpleasant. Also, Bartonella makes it difficult to walk. It really does. If you're having problems with your feet, do check out Bartonella. If every step you take is an explosion of agony and pain, look into Bartonella. Okay, those are the two I think. I'm being treated for a third one, but I'm not too up on that. I know I have Babesia because I had a blood test for it back in Brussels, back in 2015, I think it was, and they treated that. They said it's a big one, and they treated that, but it must have not been 100%. It must be another one that must be able to lie dormant or just come back again. So it came back with absolute things, you know, the lying in bed, then suddenly being covered in sweat, and you're actually covered in sweat, and then then you're freezing cold, and then it's really unpleasant, really, really quite unpleasant. So, but the general health. Oh, the other thing about the zero carb is I lost a load of weight, and I've started to put weight back on, and that was one of the apparently that's a side effect of one of the co-infections as well. The actual weight loss. It wasn't the diet that was actually causing me to lose weight. It was I was having. It was one of the co-infections. It was causing me to lose weight, which is one of the symptoms of one of the co-infections. And one of the things I've noticed, I've started putting weight back on, which much to my horror, because I quite actually thought I was about spot on. And then I've started to chunk out a little bit round the waist, and so I have to start doing weights and doing some physical exercise and doing some things. But I did find actually one of the things about this, I found I haven't lost any strength. Although I've lost weight, I haven't lost any strength. I can still pick up and carry the same sort of thing, and I have been back at work and no loss of strength, which is manual labour as well, which was good. Which is a very, very good thing. And if you want to feel strong, eat loads of beef. And I got a funny feeling we were designed to eat beef. That's it. It seems to digest really, really well. It seems to provide everything you need, make you feel well, and make you feel good, I think. So, and you can usually get, I bought a load of steaks in a local supermarket that were, sort of like, I bought a batch of them the other day, and I've been eating steaks upon steaks upon steaks, and lovely. And Jordan Peterson actually was discussing the fact that he can only eat beef, and how terrible that was. And if I know Jordan's having a hard time at the moment. I know his life is not very good, and it's thing. But if I do see him, I'm going to tell him to stop whinging about only being able to eat beef. It's not a hardship. It's quite good. Peace and love, people, and faith. And there is hope with Lyme. Take care, people. Bye.